water behind me doesn't belong here. This isn't the river. This is a floodplain. And the river itself is behind that line of trees. The house that I'm standing in front of is known as the Francois Vallée II house. II because Francois was the son of a man named Francois Vallée. And the Vallée family was a really significant family in the old and new villages of St. Genevieve. Francois Jr., who owned the property behind me, served as the commandant of the village beginning in the 1790s until his death in 1804. Francois Vallée was a wealthy man, an important man, and it's just generally been assumed that he should be living in a bigger house. So we came up, we're in the attic. This is a really weird attic. You can see the floor is made out of all of these massive timbers. But most of the cases in French houses around here, an attic is still just floored the way we floor an attic today, which is there's a set of rafters and then planks across it, right? Here, they laid these massive timbers. These are recycled timbers, and there's places elsewhere in the room where you can see old mortises and joints from their previous life. I mean, some of these could have been dragged up from the old village of St. Genevieve. This way. Not a bake oven. Too big for that. That's too high. That's too high. That's too high. Well, there could be some courses still remaining, I guess, huh? Yeah. That's not that high.
Pretty close, isn't it?
You got a big building. This is a very well-made house, and we should stop assuming the size of Francois' house because he was the commandant. Archaeologists all over the planet make a big deal out of ceramics. There's a lot of human history bound up in broken pottery. Potsherds are our clocks. They're how we tell time on a site. There's two basic kinds of ceramics that we're going to be dealing with during this time period. There's what we call refined ceramics, either porcelain or imitation porcelain. And then the unrefined ceramics, or the crockery, the coarse, heavy-bodied stuff that's used in the kitchen.
Well, actually, since I finished graduate school at Indiana University with Alma Eicherman, I made up my mind at the end of my program that what I wanted to do was build sculptures to wear. But I thought, ooh, how exciting it would be to be able to go put your arm through a hole or your head through a hole or whatever. So that was what helped inspire me to begin building body sculptures.
The studio craft movement was, in the mid-20th century, was developing in an interesting way. And it was part of really a cultural change among young people especially, where anything was possible. So Marge, I think, benefited from that kind of freedom and overall environment in Madison first, and then with Alma Eicherman, where she developed some really amazing work very early. It's interesting to see her metalwork that she was doing as a student It was exceptional in terms of the imagination and the sculptural quality, but usually in silver or gold or and not non-precious materials.
Museum collections and things like that. I think looking back at her career and her body of work over time, and then looking at other artists around her, you can really see the influence that she's had. She's really doing incredibly innovative things in the middle of the country without much outside influence, and I mean that just totally speaks to her incredible brain, her innovation, and I mean, she was really a genius. The things that she was able to do. I think
you would always see her car out in front of the building, and so when we would drive past, as she, when she was here, we'd say, "Well, do you think she's packing those papers? Do you think she's making new pieces?" I told her we had said that, and she said, "Oh, I was working on a new piece."
They say that energy can never be lost, that it just changes form. You go into a museum and you see a Marjorie piece, that's her talking to you and inspiring you.